All right, this is a take two. And I don't want to hurry anything necessarily, but I want to get the stories I want to get in and connections to the train of thought because it's been crazy this week, I guess, in every town across the country. And for good reason. I want to make some comment about that in a little bit, just to help the perspective of some of us out there. I want to bring you into this living museum. And I'll do these here and there, display videos and what have you. Right here on Morrow Mountains, and I absolutely love them. I'll say that up front. I know that there's been a couple collectors who fancy themselves to be somewhat among us, who have told me when they see Morrow Mountains or my Morrow Mountains, well, those are just Morrow Mountains. There's just so many of those. They ain't any big deal. Listen, these are a big deal to me. They're my best Morrow Mountains. They're not huge. They're not big pieces. All of these fit in 1.5 inch by 3 inch uh, safekeeping place, a little cubby hole in my display box. That's 1.5 inch by 3 inches, and there's more room for another 1, 2, 3 of these. So I sift them in there and keep my top stuff separated. You're seeing a lot of rhyolite, some really good stuff. And the point behind doing some of these display videos is that we all remember, at least many of us, going into museums even recently. But when we were children, when I was a kid, and I'd see the Indian artifacts, and I'd be so fascinated. Number one, I'd be like, my gosh. And I didn't even think for 1 second I could ever own them or find them. Secondly, if I was in there looking, and just look at these things, and I was, checking each piece out, and just with the curiosity and fascination of the people who were behind it. It's all about the people. I scan right up here. Famous portrait by Curtis. Honor and dignity of the people. He took some great pictures between 1850 and 1900, I guess. And all that you guys hear a lot of times on Indian Trace that I do this because it's about the people. Indian Trace isn't a pet name for me. It's about the stuff we find that is the trace of their race, their genetics. Of course, a historic period Indian like this has nothing to do with these, except genetics. A genetic strand might exist between this woman and these points. A closer genetic connection than mine or yours, that's for sure. So, Morrow Mountains are awesome. Nothing to cast down. I think I don't care if they're abundant. That just meant that they were working real well for them, and they could make them efficiently. We're gonna check those out. And since there's a lot of craziness going on, I'll make a couple comments during that. But I want you guys to be able to rest, have some encouragement, some strength. Verse 9 right here. If you believe in the Bible, if you don't, I'm sorry for you. It's no big deal. I still love you. I'd still hang out with you. But this is an awesome scripture. Even for today, no matter what's going on with the crazy people out there and the traffic and the shopping, there remains, therefore, a rest to the people of God. If we stop right there, and that's all we think about, just ask yourself, are you included in the people of God in that comment? Well, if you consider yourself part of the people of God, which I do, I'm part of the people of God. That's just the way it is. I am because Jesus Christ was the propitiation, the acceptable sacrifice for my sin. That's as simple as that. It's not very complicated. Therefore, I'm in with the people of God, and therefore, there's a rest that I get to have amidst this chaos. Keep your sanity. All right? How are we going to get around this? My goodness. It's warm where I am up here. It's a crazy household. It's even busier. You guys might have some busy households when all this stuff's going on. Craziness. Let's go on the outside pieces first. And I'm just going to take a couple seconds with each one and see if I can get a good close-up the best I can. Not handle them too much. In a museum, we couldn't take them, we couldn't touch them, but I'd sure like to be standing next to the person who found some of those things I saw when I was in Utah. And my goodness, they had a really great display. I think it was actually in the museum for Dinosaur National Park. I'm not sure. But they had some Native American stuff, and it was great. Look at this small point here in rhyolite. I love it. Now these are my loves. I've laid out my loves because these are Marl Mountains and top pieces I don't consider giving. I don't sell, and I give them once in a while just because I moved to. But these are like no, I'm going to keep it. And I do have pieces like that. And the only reason I say that is because there's a lot of people, look at this color difference here, who see a lot given. It's no big deal. It's an easy button. But with that, I want you to see that, and I tell people all the time, but I don't know if it clicks, I keep a lot. And I've been blessed to find a lot, through the last 8 years or so. So, we have a rest, and I just wanted to bring some people some rest in a little bit of a museum, and you're able to hang out a little bit with the very person who was able to pick this up off the desert. No, out of the dirt. I'm teasing everybody. Look at this piece right here, dead center. Look at the rock. It's rhyolite. Now, I didn't skip over anything. We're going from the outside pieces. Here's a piece from Site 5. Most of these, because they're favorites, I remember exactly where I found them. And there's different reasons why they're favorite. But you will know the Marl Mountain, that's for sure, when I'm done here. Another really great piece. And it can be as simple as pie, but still be really great pieces. And what's with all the crazy chaos? Well, 40% or more of the American public, unfortunately, get what they believe is real information from the mainstream news media. Well, there's 50% of your problem right there. No peace, no rest. But there's a rest, which comes with wisdom. That's why I said there's a rest for the people of God. The people of God should have wisdom. They shouldn't be stupid and fanatical and not able to be related to. The stone is nice. Super nice, this rhyolite. I love it. Now let's go around the inside ring. It's just great stuff. We're going to go counterclockwise today. Look at this piece. I found it at the Cove. Site 3. And the perspective is a lot different today. What our president today had to do, starting 4 weeks ago, shutting the borders to China, he had to do it. He saw what was coming, and he wasn't about to get himself in a position. Just listen. Just listen. Look at these points where a whole bunch of naysay could be said of him, with a whole bunch of crazy chaos, multiplied more sick people, and it would have been. This is going to pass. There are solutions already come forward, both genetic solutions as well as CDC and great chemists, and there's already been trials of vaccinations that have worked and have 100% recovery rate on all the test subjects. Good things are coming. So I don't know who you're listening to, but make sure you search out primary source resource and try to find it. Look at that piece right there. That was found at the Hawk, Site 5E. Remember, just a little bit of encouragement, strength today, a little bit of rest to understand some of the current events as well. There'll be a link today. A couple links. It's I'm still pushing Double Fine videos. I think they'll be finished after this whole cycle. God knows we all have some needs in our lives during this time. It's crazy. Work situations for people and what have you. And I've already had those. I've had those for a little while, but look at the rock real close when I show you these. Everything that went into making this piece just so it would work. These are all atlatl dart tips. Just so you know. Yeah, well, they're arrowheads, for sure. That's the easiest way for us to identify. Look at this purple rhyolite. Found at Old Faithful. Site 5. Mercy, right? And so the way our president is now, his ego, and every great leader in the world, don't get me wrong, has had a big ego, and they need to. You'd need to if you were going to be a leader, let alone have a brilliant business mind. With this, he wasn't about to be showed up in terms of how to respond in the safest measure, even if it was a little inconvenient to us, and to see that this virus was handled in an efficient, excellent manner. Look at this point. Super nice. Better than it ever has been, or better than a problem ever has been. Now listen. Oh my God, people. We have been through smallpox, tuberculosis, Ebola, swine flu, measles, mumps. This is nothing even close to that. But the reaction has to be strong, purposed, businesslike. It has to trump the reaction of administrations that were corrupt and taking advantage of you and me. That's as simple as I can put it. That is why he's doing this. That is why they've made the choice to go in the direction they are, with the precautions, etc., that are disruptive to our lives temporarily. That's the bottom line. It's a nice point in mixed color, isn't it? I just hope a little bit of understanding and strength and rest is given to you to understand some of these things. And so nothing's out of control. He's pleased. I listen to primary source resource material every day, coming from CDC, coming from him, coming from the people who are on the task force, who are handling this, to explain in depth any question that's asked of them. They're not obfuscating. They're not skirting any question. I listen directly to their comment, and if you listen to a person talk, they give up who they are. If they're a decent human being, if they have a good heart, they'll give that up. You'll know for sure. For sure. Nice point there. Here's a point I found at the Bear. Unbelievable stuff to me. This thing will not focus, but only so close. I'm trying things out here. Just doing my best with my phone, everybody. And so when it comes to all of this hoopla and the virus, just take it easy. Relax. Keep your sanity. Remember, there's a rest for you. And there's a rest for us. There's a reason that all this is transpiring. Unfortunately, this virus is not like smallpox. It's not like Ebola or tuberculosis. It has been manufactured and released on purpose to cause chaos and to show that somebody is ill prepared and unable to be a leader, to give a certain party the excuse to move forward again with the stupidity of trying to make up a reason to impeach. I know people have a hard time understanding that somebody would be so insensitive and cruel to do that. That's one of my favorite Marl Mountains. Found a lookout. But if you're listening on the backside of these images, of these points, if you're listening to me in my rant, trust me, it's true. You don't want to know why the indictments are falling, what they were involved in, why their friends were involved in people who were doing, I will just say, unspeakable, disgusting, and unacceptable things. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. They're sick. Even as our president has said, these people are sick. So because of that, we must rise up and keep our peace. And that's all of them. You saw them all. We must rise up and be leaders to our friends, family, and loved ones. Now, if they don't ask us any questions, fine, so be it. But let them see your peace, your stability. When they ask, make sure that you're prepared and that you have something that you can answer for. Wanted to show you some of those beautiful marl mountains today. Personal favorite. I had somebody say, hey, I want you to show all of your quartz top shelf stuff. I said, listen, I couldn't possibly do that in one video. I'll get some others on. You've seen the small ones. You've seen the ones yesterday. There'll be some more quartz. You out there know who I'm talking to. But hey, this rhyolite's not so bad either, is it? My best to all you out there. Imagine the men that made all these. Their families. Their children. Who they fed. The men that made these. The women who were behind and with them. The strength of their lives, the resilience. Oh my God, right? We think we have it hard sometimes. I hope you save out there. I hope you find.